Hello and welcome to another Harsh Noise Gear review. It's been a while, but I'm back with something super weird. Super weird. Super weird. Two super weird things and death metal pedals off to the side, as usual. We have the Beetlecrab Vector Synth and the Intuitive Instruments Exquis. Now, this is a 16 voice digital polysynth, and this is a MIDI controller. They're both MPE, MIDI Polyphonic Expression, which means crazy stuff. Mesmerizing, weird, totally insane. This is a very... Oh, it's got reverb. Let's put some reverb and delay. Yeah. Okay. This is a crazy synth, and it can sound really nasty, and it can sound really good for noise, and really good for experimental music. In fact, it's really good for experimental music. It is, honestly, challenging to make predictable sounds on this thing. It is fun as hell to make unpredictable sounds. Like, watch this. Hit the dice. Hit it again. And when you go really low on this thing, pretty much any sound you make, it sounds absolutely bonkers. Yeah, you get the idea. So, okay. I'm going to explain what's going on here, because there's a lot going on. But first, what I'm going to explain is I'm going to explain the features of the Exquis, which is a MIDI controller. Then I'm going to explain not the features of the Vector. I'm not going to explain it feature by feature. I'm going to explain it part by part. And there are 3 parts to the Vector, and I'll get into that. And that'll kind of outline all the features. And then I'm going to make some intentionally horrible sounds. If that sounds cool, then keep watching. If not, like, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. My guy or my gal, my other cool gender pal. Anywho, let's get rolling. The Exquis is a MIDI controller. It's a weird looking MIDI controller. Let's get to like a normal sound. Let's go to a normal sound, like a normal sound, like a normal sound. There we go. Sort of normal, whatever. Okay, so this sound, the keyboard, low note, up semitones, high note. Okay, so boom. But you'll see that, you can select a key, like a root note and a key, and then so I'll show you. You hold down this button, you twist the second knob, and look, G, F, A. Let's do A sharp, and we'll do major. 1 is major, 2 is minor. The rest you got to figure it out. And watch. Look. So the white note is the root. The blue notes are the notes in the key. The overall pitch of each button never changes. So this is always gonna. Hold on. Let's remind myself where. Whoops. Nope. This one. Remind myself where A is. A is here. So A sharp, B. Right? This is always going to be A. So if I change to C sharp, whatever, this is still A. And this is C sharp. Yeah. So let's do, what was I saying? A minor. Normally this would be all the white keys, right? All the white keys, A minor. Notice how I only did these and did the full thing? That's because this keyboard, yes, it goes up per semitone, but then in order to make things appear in nice patterns, what it does is this note repeats right here. Right, so if we turn off the repeat notes, we can do that with this. No, this function. So this is just all the notes in the key, no repeats. Right? But because of the way it's laid out, so this way is always, from this note to this note, is always, what is that, a major third? No, minor third. This is major third, this is a fifth, this is a seventh. Like, it all like, this is always gonna be like the seventh, or not the seventh, the fifth of this. Like, there's patterns. There's patterns to it, and you can unlock the patterns with your mind and some settings. So we're in what? A major. No, that's not major. I did this one. There's 2 different buttons that you hold, and you rotate the 4 knobs to access 8 different parameters, 8 different settings on the X key. The most common of which is tempo, if you're using this as your master controller. Type of arpeggiator used on this thing, and then key, pattern. So look, like, watch the patterns change. See that? That's minor, and then you have like harmonic minor. Let's keep going. We have other shapes. Look at all those shapes. Look at that shape. These are different shapes you could play. Right? Kind of fun, self-explanatory. Kind of a fun way, and that's 14 is everything. 14 is the chromatic scale. Okay, yeah, there's some fun ones. Let's just go to minor. A minor. And so what I really like about the X key. No, before I even get into what I like, I gotta finish. Okay, so you got the buttons laid out, and it sends pitch and gate information, and you can send that via MIDI, or you can send that via USB, or you can send that via CV. It has 3 CV outs, one for gate, one for pitch, and one for mod. But how does it send mod, you ask? Is it this strip? No, that's the arpeggiator strip. You say, what? And I say, yeah, arpeggiator strip. And you say, where's the mod? And I say, in each key. But it's not just the pressure. See the pressure? How I'm changing the size of the orbiters with different pressure. But then check this out. If I move up, it pitches down. Let me increase the semitones, the microtones by which it bends. So now I can pitch bend up and down. So I have pressure for size of orbit, X for pitch bend, and then what's Y? That's right, there's a Y for orbit speed. See how I'm doing that with my finger? This allows a lot of expression, but you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. It's like a crazy aftertouch. But what if I told you it did that on every single key individually? Because this is MPE. This is MIDI polyphonic expression. What MPE is, it's MIDI 2.0. It's the same thing. What it is so normal MIDI transfers 127 channels of 127 parameters on 16 separate channels, right? And you can only use one of the 16 channels at a time, and that's your MIDI instrument. And so you can have like one controller control like up to 16 different instruments if you separate it out into the channels. However, MIDI polyphonic expression uses all 16 channels at once. Yeah. And it sends all that information all at the same time. Yeah. So that allows crazy amounts of parameter shifting, like per. So watch, I'm going to make some of these speed up, some of them pitch down, some of them bigger, smaller, just by changing little finger positions. Make them all slow, which it like takes getting used to. But it's like very responsive and crazy, right? Okay, so that's MPE, that's MIDI polyphonic expression, that's the Exquis controller. The Exquis controller, is there anything else I want to explain about? Oh yeah, the arpeggiator, right. Let's make it a little pluckier. Let's use this thing's arpeggiator. This thing also has an arpeggiator. Wow. But this thing's arpeggiator. Let's try. Oh, and the hold is this. You click this thing here. You click it. That's the hold. So you click it. Raising the sustain. Yeah, see? And hold to release. But okay, check this out. We have an arpeggiator. So the way the arpeggiator works is you literally just touch the strip and then touch your notes. And the strip is just different divisions on the strip. So let's get this synced. It's at 181. Let's see what we can. Let's bring it down to 160. That's 157. That's close enough. So it's all little divisions. Right, but it's only in ascending. But we can go to this, and then we tap the strip to cycle through the different arpeggio modes. So right now it's in ascending, as you can see from that light. Tap it once, now it's in descending. Tap it again, now it's in outer, moving towards inner. Tap it again, now it's inner towards outer. Now it's everything, it's just over and over. Cool, I like that one. Good for noise. This one is in the order I put them in, I believe. Maybe it was this one. No, it was that. I think, let's find out. Oh no, this is from the center of the keyboard outward. See that, how it starts in the center? Yeah, kind of cool. Yeah, kind of cool. Yeah. Sure. All right. The one thing my thoughts on the Exquis before I wrap it up and move on to the Vector. My thoughts on the Exquis is apparently it has software that works with the computer. Apparently it's trash. Whatever. I didn't intend on using it anyhow. I intended on using this as a MIDI controller. Oh, by the way, the mod out only since it's CV, it only outputs channel pressure. It does not output X or Y. Although X still does pitch bend on the pitch, which is cool. But the Y is lost if you're just using CV. It's only pressure. That gets transferred. Okay. My thoughts on the Exquis. Right. My thoughts on the Exquis is that it is probably the coolest. Like, if you're looking for an MPE controller, this is the second cheapest option. Other than there's like the Nano Key thing, I think, or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. There's like the Seaboard. There's not a lot of options under $1,000 for MIDI polyphonic expression, but this is one of them. It's $300, new. Honestly, compared to the other MIDI controllers that are available for under $1,000 that are MPE, this is the most interesting one. The rest are like keyboards, maybe with like a slide or something, or a push, extra pressure, or a touche, or whatever. That's cool. But this one, like the layout of this thing is inspiring, and is why I'm selling this and keeping this. I'll explain why I'm selling this at the end of explaining all of this, the Vector. But the Exquis I'm going to be keeping for future MPE stuff, but I don't have any other MPE gear. This is it. This is all I got. So when I get rid of the Vector and I have the Exquis, I won't be able to take full advantage of its MPE tech. But I'm still going to be using it as a MIDI controller because it's a really good MIDI controller. And the reason why is because it is so musically, like, different. Like, if you're not a keyboard player, get this. If you're not a trained pianist, get this. If you can't, like, do, like triplets in the left hand and quarter notes in the right hand, Philip Glass style on a keyboard and switch keys, get this instead. Because, like, dog, if you're a synthesist but not a keyboardist, this is crazy good. Because just like this is like the Luma key, like the crazy expensive what's it called, microtonal synth. Like, you've seen that thing, the Luma keyboard or whatever. That thing is nutty, but it's also like fucking like 2K. And this thing's $300. So, but the layout of like the hexagonal thing really, and like the changing notes really like inspires melodies that I wouldn't normally play, because I am trained in piano in a certain amount and a certain way, and I come back to the same finger movements every time. But this totally refreshes that, and also, like, you don't really have to memorize shit as much as you do, like you don't have to. It's a little easier to do melodies in key than it is on a standard keyboard if you don't know all your keys on your keyboard. Like, if you're trying to do like A major, right? And you're like, what's the third? Fuck, is it? It's major, right? Oh my god, it's a C sharp. It's a C sharp. Holy fuck. And you have to like figure it out looking at the keyboard. But this is, you're just like, that's the third. 1 3 5 7 9. Like, boom, like easy peasy. Yeah. That's what I like about the Exquis. What I don't like about the Exquis is that two things. The software that I don't use aside, because like whatever. The two things I don't like are that there is no way to find out what freaking BPM you're at unless you run it into something else, and like if you're trying to BPM match this thing to something else and you don't have a visual way to sync with this and visually represent like you do here, then there's no way to BPM match with this thing and its arpeggiator unless you have it being sent to clock or via MIDI, or you're using this as your master clock. Like, it's kind of difficult. But the other thing is that because this is an MPE controller, that's only $300. You're thinking, wow, $300, I bet it's a quality product. And you'd be right. However, listen to this. Like, when I push on it, it squeaks. Hold on, let me hold this up to the mic. Like, that's just me going like this with it, like flexing it. And when I like push a button here, let me push a button up close to the mic. Like, I'm putting pressure on it and you can hear the creaking. Like, y'all could hear that creaking underneath the notes, right? It is that is like the one downside, is that like if you're using sensitive mics in the studio and this thing is nearby, you're gonna get some and that's a little frustrating to have something that kind of like squeaks annoyingly, but it's also like, dog, the next level up MPE controller's like $800 or $1,000 or $1,400. Like, it's a kind of inaccessible and new thing, MPE. And so you gotta make some cuts here and there because we can't all afford the name of keyboard I want. The Expressive E from Hawkins Studios or whoever. Yeah, the Osmos Expressive E, that one. Because that's like $1,400, $1,800. Like, I don't have that for like a MIDI controller. Are you joking my balls off? Anywho, let's move on to the Vector, the star of this episode, even though I've spent some time rambling about the Exquis. But you need to understand what like I'm doing with my fingers before you understand what's going on with the sound. So, the Vector is it's a Linux box. It's just a straight up Linux box. It's a 16 voice synthesizer, and it can be played either in Poly, where you have let me hold it. "16 voices," or you have 16. You have one. It's one. Hold on. Let me. How do I want to really? Because like the Vector synth, it is a dense weirdo. It is a dense weirdo, and I think the way I want to explain it is I'm going to talk about the three parts that comprise it, which are the sound engine, the orbit engine, and the vector engine. Orbit and vector stuff. And then the effects engine. Because that's like how I kind of see the three parts of this. They all work together, and it's definitely not laid out in those three parts. It's kind of laid out as like what is usable. So let's start with the very freaking initial patch. Just to be super simple here, initial patching it. Right? Wow, that's a sawtooth. And look, you can see we have a beautiful sawtooth in the back. Kinda. Oh, it's shifting. What's over there? There's our sawtooth. Everywhere we go is sawtooth. Yes, we love Sawtooth Initial Patch. Yeah. So, okay. There's the sound engine, the orbit engine, and the effects engine. I'm gonna explain them in backwards order because that's the order of simplicity. Okay? Not okay. We're gonna start with the simplest, which is the last. Like the sound starts with the sound engine, goes through the orbits, and comes out through the effects. But I'm going to explain the effects, then the orbit, then the sound engine from least to most complicated. The effects are so great. There's a reverb, a delay, and a chorus, and a drive. And to access them, you click this button, boop, and it brings you to this page. And then these knobs, this section of knobs here, controls stuff. So we have our. Let me turn off. Let me turn down the pitch bend a bit, so I'm not wiggling all over the floor. Cool. Oh, let me also normalize the velocity from the initialized patch. I do not like that a lot. So, okay, let me explain what I'm doing. You go here, settings, then you go here to these lines, and the lines, this is your controller mapping. So let's do, we have page 1, volume to velocity. Let's just not. It's just all going to be loud. Okay? Let's instead do volume to channel pressure, and then you watch. I'm going to click that. Set no. Yeah, let's try that. So now, there's a little bit of volume change, but not really, whatever. I'm going to take that off. Haha. Okay, so we just have our... Just freaking Sawtooth. Let's make it a little more interesting. I'm going to hit the random button. We'll get into this later. We're going to hit play to get this thing moving. We're going to speed that up a bit. Oops. Yeah. Okay, let's do something kind of normal. Right, let's add our drive, because we're talking about effects. We're going to talk about effects. So drive has drive amount and color. And there's two different drive circuits. There's either drive like this, or drive in sequence. This is like a side chain drive. Right? I think it sounds nice. I think it sounds good as hell. Let's turn it off, though. Reverb. So the amount is here, because you have, remember in this thing, you have reverb, chorus, delay, volume. And when you're making experimental sounds, you want to check your volume. You want it to be like as high as possible. I usually aim for like 50, but then you want to check your meters here. Because if I go, yeah, it'll go in the red, and it'll start doing not so great clipping. I really wish they had like something in there to keep the clipping a little nice, but it's not. It's kind of eh. Anywho, so the effects, there's reverb. There's reverb, and it is driving color. There's a delay. The delay can be. Let's unclock it. Oh, what's cool? Okay, I'll get to that. There's so many things on this. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, delay. Turn it up. Oh wait, we have to. Sorry, check this. You have to feed the delay. That light needs to be blinking. Hell yeah. And the delay has a few options, the most important of which are either the ping pong, which is great, or the filter. It's got like a cutoff, filter cutoff on the delay. So without, let me do it a little faster. Whoops. With the filter, you see how it kind of filters out some of the. What's amazing about this delay is it can become a looper. Delay feedback 100, and you want because if you want the filter off, because if you put the filter on, it'll filter everything out eventually. But you want the filter off, and then this is one of the noisy things you can do. Here's a secret noisy thing that you can do with the delay before we even get into the reverb or chorus. The reverb and chorus are like very nice, but this is a noisy thing you can do. Watch this. Watch this. This is and you have to. I practiced doing this. Because if you go too fast, it'll tear it not evenly, and you have to kind of like slow down the delay time evenly. And then you have this like weird, gritty sound. Then you can trash it. Yeah, the delay on this thing is crazy cool. Okay, moving on to less exciting effects. Let's do the chorus. Without chorus. With stereo chorus. And the chorus speed can either be fast. So let's turn up the depth. Oh, and if you hit this button, you can access the color, which is really pretty. Or, instead of speeding up, it can slow down. And remember, that's on a boop, triangle wave. Oh no, we changed our triangle wave to something funky, I forgot. But whatever. And then, reverb works like reverb. Whoa. It sounds pretty good. It's stereo. And again, you have size. It sounds really good. And then over here you have global resonance. Which, ooh. Squelcho. Okay, that's it for the effects. The volume, the controls are over here, and the volume's over here of each of the effects. So let's give it a little bit of each. Let's turn down the delay time. Give it some of that. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, give it a little bit of drive too. Okay. Cool. That's it for effects. I'm done talking. Oh, no, I'm not talking. Oh. There's also vibrato and tremolo, and it's this section right here. So let's go back to our sawtooth. Vibrato. If there's a vibrato speed, vibrato depth. Tremolo speed, tremolo depth. And they work like how you expect. Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about is these switches right here related to the effects. Because there's 3 of them that are related to the effects. One that's related to suborbit. This is the sync section. This is synced with the beat. There are toggles, whether you want the suborbit, vibrato and tremolo, delay, or chorus to be synced with the beat. So let's try like a let's throw in an arpeggiator. Arpeggio. Come on. Hold. Give it some shape. With our attack, decay, sustain, release, we're going to give it some shape. And oh yeah, we're going to sync the delay. And you'll notice that it becomes divisions. Turn up the delay. Same with the chorus. Yeah, okay, you understand that. Bass. Okay, great. Moving on to the cool shit. Let's move on to the cool shit. Second thing. Middle complicated. Second thing I'm explaining. The vector engine. Vector space engine. What is a vector engine? What is vector synthesis? And why? And what are orbiters? Okay, so let's remove our lovely effects that we spent so long on, and let's talk about let's randomize our sound again. Cool, great, that'll work. So what I just did is I randomized the origin sound, which is the third part that I'm going to get into last. Okay, but the second part, we got the vector space. So what is vector space? You have 4 origin sounds, 1, 2, 3, 4 in each corner. And vector synthesis, I've explained another vector synth on this channel before, the Behringer Pro VS Mini, which had a joystick. This has orbiters instead of a joystick, and instead of like programmable wave envelopes like that had, this has suborbiters and orbit paths and all sorts of deciduous figures. Wow! And you can do arcane sigilry. You'll see what I mean. But, so you see that fast thing? That's our orbiter. Let's do, okay, so you have so let's go to a normal shape. That's fine. That's normal enough. I don't care. So let's slow it down a bit. Let's play our note. Hold it. Turn it up a smidge. So we have here, what I'm going to do, hear how it moves through 4 different sounds? That's because each corner, think of yourself as the green, blue, whatever, that dot. Think of yourself as the dot in a room with 4 corners and a speaker in each corner. Each speaker is playing a different oscillator. As you move through the room, the mix that you hear changes. It's kind of noisy in that corner. It's kind of in this corner. And it's kind of in this corner. And kind of in this corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got 4 different sounds. And we can speed up. We can change a lot of the ways it moves through this space. Right? And then we can change the relative speed. So this is 16 times 16 division of BPM. This is 1 of the BPM. And then we can go to 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, 1/32. Right now, I have my suborbiter on my orbiter. Now, I have my suborbiter for my 1 note around my orbiter. Let's increase the suborbit size and speed. It kind of mashes in on the sides if it's too big. So instead of having LFOs to modulate your sound, this thing has the vector space, which provides for very interesting modulations over time, especially in like slower speed. And also there is a global slowdown function. If you go to your settings, you gotta hit a series of things. You gotta hit this one, then this one, then this one, like up the line. And then there's a global slowdown. Where is it? Global slowdown, 1x all the way to 16x. So you can make some slow evolving, even at like, you can make some slow moving stuff that makes for great noise wall. Death metal pedal warning. Here we go. Yeah, you got it. So, here's the thing. I've only been in poly mode. Now, poly mode, I was going to explain the modes earlier, but whatever, we're getting around to it. There's 3 different modes: poly mode, dual mode, and mono. In poly mode, you can hit up to 16 notes. Let me take it off global slowdown. You can have up to 16 notes. Wow. Or if we do beep beep, where's the thing? Dual mode, you can have 2 voices or 2 suborbiters per note or per orbiter. So you can play up to 8, because remember it's a 16 voice. So you can play up to 8 notes. And have 16 suborbiters that way. Or you can go to mono mode, and you can choose the number of voices on your mono thing. So you can either have like, what is this, like probably like 3 or 2? 3. Or you can have 16. Yeah. And so in and there's different options per mode. So in poly mode, there's detune drift and stereo scatter. Excuse me. Wow. Detune drift sounds like this. It just changes the likelihood that your note is on key. Stereo scatter does this. Changes the likelihood of a stereo scatter. And to what extremity. And that's poly. Which, like, stereo scatter, like a little bit of both is actually kind of nice. Because let's do a sequence again. Or, like, that's cool. Anywho. Then in dual mode, you choose the suborbit offset. You can detune the follower, and you can do stereo bias. So right now, let's just do one note. Let me do a different sound. No, more different. Yeah, like that. That's nice. So we have our note. Let's hold it. Turn it up a little bit. Turn it down a little bit. Give it a nice rotate. Okay. Then let's go to our freaking. Where was I? Oh yeah, the detune follower and suborbit offset. So the follower, I just offset it, so now it's like, see how they're closer together, or like that. Standard is in the middle, kind of. And then you can detune the follower up to an octave lower or an octave higher, or like a few cents off. And then you can give it stereo bias. So let's turn our follower up an octave and put it to the right. Or left. That's left. That's right for the follower. Which, like, that can sound cool. It can also sound cool if you do like a little bit of off and a little bit of off. Like 50, 53. I think that sounds cool. Yeah. But then in mono mode, you choose your number of voices. Let's do like that many. play our note. And then you can either have the stack normal, or you can detune the stack. Which sounds dope. And then there's glide, which is portamento, which is only accessible in mono mode. So let's give it some glide. Play a note. Oh, what's cool is the portamento is only when you play staccato, not legato. I sound like a Mamma Mia Italian up in here. So if you play staccato, no portamento, no slide, no glide. But if you play holding down one and holding down the next, legato, then you get the portamento and mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball. Non-Italian hater. It's okay, my landlord's Italian, whatever. Okay. Yeah, my landlord's Italian. That means I can do the accent. No worries. Haha. Okay, let's, oh, so weird. Okay, I want to talk about more of the shapes. So we've talked about the orbiters and the suborbiters and the voice modes, but now we're going to talk about the shapes, shape moment, and the liciduous figures. So you can reset to the original liciduous figure. So we have a liciduous figure, which is essentially a flat loop wrapped around a cylinder. Okay, so is that the moves on the liciduous figure? Now I'm French. Fuck. Oh my god, that's why I was saying fuck so much. And there's two modes. You can either have the orbiter starts in the same place, but you have an individual orbiter per voice. So let me go to dual. Right. So, or if I toggle that, see the difference? Either there's one orbiter and all the suborbiters follow it, or there's orbiter per note. It depends on the sound you want. Okay, and the liciduous figure can be moved around. It can be pinched and zoomed and shrank and shrunk and shrankled and shrinkled, and then it can be warped, which is how you see it move around the cylinder. See that? Do you see the cylinder in your mind? Good. Now rotate the cylinder in your mind. Use your mind's eye. Yes, good. Good, Neo. I think you are the one. Oh, yeah. Neo, I'm going buck wild on it. Okay. And then there's more complex liciduous figures. Oh, liciduousness. Oh, look at it go around the cylinder. Oh, my liciduous figures. You're so... liciduous. More complex. Yes, more twisted around the cylinder we go. Yeah. There's also an ADSR mode, which you're like, what? How do it do that? It goes like this. So you have the ADSR now functions either as your amp, your orbit speed, or both. I like to do it separately. But let's do it like that. Right? Pretty cool. So it starts with the attack, then to the decay, and then it stays on sustain until you release it. Then it goes through the release. But the orbiter follows the line and goes where you tell it to go. But you can like move it around. You're like, I want to start in this sound, and then this is like the most sound designy you can get with this thing. This is cool though. You can go like, I want to start in this corner, then go to that one, then go to that one. Let me give that a bit more release. Cool, right? But then you can warp individual sections. So first you select the AD section, and then you warp it, baby, wiggly, wiggly, warping it. So now it goes. And then you can wiggly warp it stronger, stronger. Yeah, like that. Yeah, let's make that fast, actually. I like that. Let's make that a little quicker, like. Oh! Yeah, like right there. Weird. You can select DS, and then, like, you can warp that. Wiggle it this way. Wiggle it back. Wiggle it back slow. Wiggle it back slow, baby. And you can wiggle that. Wiggle that good. Wiggle that wiggly worm. Let's make it like a big wiggle, but a little wiggle. Yeah. Big wiggle, little wiggle. So you can really do some like wild, bizarre sound design with this. And then look, you can scroll more. There's more. There's two more. There's the no, this one. This one's fun. This is my like favorite for arcane sigils. So look, it's got segments and sharpness. So right now we're on, what is that? Let's decrease our sharpness. That's a hexagon. So let's make our sharpness like nothing. So now we're at a hexagon. And then check this out. So we're at 1. We can go slower. Right? We can go faster. Watch this. Now we're getting into sigil territory. I hope my camera is picking up the 60 FPS screen that this thing has, because watch this. Let's give it like 5 segments. Let's make a yeah, watch this though. Sigil word. This is with a slow ass BPM. Let's speed up our BPM. I think that should be 300. It's like, it's pretty, it's up there. Let's do a square. Yeah. Let's add some more notes. just for visuals. Oh yeah. God, that looks so cool. Do you see the secrets, Neo? Do you see the pattern? You are the one, Neo. You can see into the Matrix. Also, or transgender. Dun 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 dun. You know, because the whole Matrix is about, movies is about the trans allegory. Gaze into the void. And it will gaze back into you because it is gay. That's right, the abyss is gay. You heard it here first. Sorry, I'm just like mesmerized by the orbits. Do you see? Do you see the truth? Yo. And then you can do this thing. Wow. So this is this like mode. Hold on, let me just do one voice. Stop freaking it. So this mode, you have frequency. And phase. Which I find this can be really good for adding a weird like synth rhythm to something that already exists. Like if you've already got a drum beat, because you can sync this and then you just make this the right side. Like, well, this is going to be a quarter. This is going to be 1 bar. Like, you see how fucking hard that could go? Like, oh, this, okay, death metal pedal time. And we're upping the frequency. And then let's go buck wild with it. And by that I mean let's go really fast. Change the phase a bit, frequency, we're gonna make like that. Behold, Neo. The eye. I don't remember any Matrix quotes right now. I'm just like consistently mesmerized by this thing. Like, look at it, like, what the hell? And that's just one note. Let's get some more in there. Oh, unstable. The door is opening, Neo. Will you bend spoons and become transgender or whatever? And stop the bad guys from turning everyone into a slug? We believe in you, Neo. It's me, Yoda. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Enough mesmerizing. It's so cool. Let's just go back to a plain old lascivious figure. And like a normal speed. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay. We're almost there, folks. We've almost explained the whole dang synthesizer. And we're at like an hour. Over an hour. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. Let's go. Next. And last, we're going to talk about the sound engine and how that works. And you're going to be like, what the shit? Here we go. Watch. Corner matrix. Boom. And you're like, oh my God. What is all this? Okay. So check it out. You focus. You can focus on each of the corners. Right? So you go focus. Oh, yeah. Let's explain these knobs and the knob system. Because there's two different labels for the knobs and this switch here. Now, normally... let's get out of focus mode. Come on. Boop. Normally, these top 5 knobs are overtone generators, all overtone generators moving left and right at once. And then you have overtone blending. All 4 just kind of moving at once. And you can kind of like roughly do that. And then you have filter cutoff for all 4 at once. And you have resonance with a filter of all 4 at once. You can also do focus mode where you do 1 corner at a time. See, it's highlighted 3. And look, I can change my individual overtone generator, the blend, the cutoff, the resonance. Let's do it like up here. I like that. Go to the next corner. Let's make this one like noisy. Yeah. And then let's make this one like that. And this one like that. Sure, right? Like whatever. And that's like how you design your sound from the front panel, right? By mixing, because each sound is a blend of 2 overtones, there's 7 different overtones: A, B, C, D, E, F, and noise. So there's the blend of the overtones, right? Then it goes through a filter. Or you can look at it like this. You go to your generators. You have generators and filters, right? So you got 4 generators. That 1 corner, 2 corner, 3 corner, 4 corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can turn them on or off. And you can change the way they... okay, so the PM is phase modulation. This is amplitude modulation. This is phase modulation and amplitude modulation. This is phase distortion amplitude modulation and reverse phase distortion amplitude modulation. There's a bunch of different ways that it combines. Basically, so there's the prime slot, there's Gen 1, Gen 2, blend mode, and amp. I'm going to go through this as quick as I freaking can. And then you have these options here, and basically you select which voice is which slot. You can change the tuning to different, like, bits. You can change the blend mode. Any of these weird freakers. And you can get some crazy cool noise out of this. Let me show you something really quick. We got 4 is let's solo 4. Check this. So we have noise and overtone blending. So here's just adding, or so the way the blend works is all the way to the left is generator 1 plus generator 2. All the way in the middle is just generator 1. All the way to the right is generator 1 blended with generator 2 via this type of blending, either phase, amplitude, phase modulation, and amplitude modulation, phase distortion, amplitude modulation, and reverse phase distortion. So you can get some cool stuff out of noise with this. Oops, like this. And then you can do then amp as well. You can choose the output volume or put a limiter on it. Let's do... So that's the generators. Okay. And filters. Filters. You have 4 filters. Filter 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see filter 1 is applied to generator 2 onto generator 2, not the blend. So you can apply filters at different places, right? And they can be different kinds: bandpass, high pass, low pass, 24 decibel, and formant. Let's make them all formant because it sounds funny. And then you can have it track via key and be via orbiter. And let's have it be via orbiter. So they're all orbiter. Now you have that like formant on all the filters. And but here's okay, and that's it. That's it. That's how this shit, the corner matrix, works. That's the origin sound. And you said, well, isn't that really complicated? And you kind of just skimmed over it. And I'm gonna go, yeah. And here's why. Here's why I skimmed over it, and I don't care to explain it further than that, is because these options right down here are the best part. And the random buttons, we're getting back to the random buttons. The random buttons are the best because you could, all these different things, the generators, the filters, all this sound designy nonsense, you can kind of just be like, I want to randomize either one corner, a single corner, either the corners, the matrix, or both. Let's say I want to just do selected, single. Let's just do that. So then I hit random, and it randomizes part of it. Let's do multi, both, all 4. There you go. So if you just do single, corners, and selected, it doesn't randomize the filters or generators. It just randomizes the overtones and the blend and the cutoff and the resonance, right? But then you can do like this, and it'll do all four, and the matrix will do all four. So this is the matrix, randomizing the matrix, randomizing the corners, or both. Let's do multi. And usually, okay, so that was the backwards explanation. What didn't I explain? This switch. This switch has 3 settings. Either. Okay, I'm gonna quickly go through the things I didn't explain, which was this thing and the arpeggiator, and then I'm gonna make some patches and give you my thoughts. Okay, this switch, if it's up, then these top knobs, no matter what screen you're on, work on overtone generators. The blend, the cutoff, they work as if they were on this screen. In the middle, it's contextual. Oh no, in the bottom, it's only those knobs. So even though we're on this screen, it's giving me drive amount and drive color and reverb size and reverb color and global resonance. Or in the middle, it's contextual. See how it like turns those dark, and over here it turns those dark. But in the middle, it's contextual. So if you're on this screen, these knobs are those things, and if you're on this screen, these knobs are those things. That's what that switch does. Okay, moving on. Arpeggiator. It's got an arpeggiator and a delay, and you can either feed. You have to feed the delay and the arpeggiator, and you turn on the feed on by hitting the feed button, and it blinks. And then you can either feed the delay, the arpeggiator, or both. If you're using the delay, you usually want it on both when you're feeding the arpeggiator. But let's just clear what we got. Whatever. Here we're gonna feed both. So here we go. Wow, what a great sequence. You're so cool. Then I turn off that, so it's just on delay, and then I go to and then I turn the arpeggiator on. And then you can do note length, or you can humanize, which randomizes the note length. Which is cool. Or you can move the octave up or down, or change the volume of individual notes. Or randomize the octave, randomize the links, which are like legato ties, if you're playing in that mode. You can also like unlock the pattern, and then you have to feed another one into it. It looks complicated, but it's actually pretty playable once you get it going. Because let me show you something. No. Okay, let's try that again. Let's do that didn't really. Let me try now. I think I had to hit that button. It wasn't feeding. Why did it not feed? What is going on? Feed. Is a mysterious guy. Why is it so quiet all of a sudden? Hello? Oh, it's having a fun time. So, this is a Linux box, and sometimes if you're working on something, you should save your work, because sometimes you got to turn that bitch, you got to turn it off and turn it back on again, because sometimes I mean, like, there's probably another way I could have fixed that, but I don't really care. Because while it's booting up, I'm going to give you my thoughts about this thing. Let's randomize our sound. Let's quick do that. So the way I usually use this thing, yeah, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. The way I actually use this thing, like I've shown you all the parts, but like, how do you use it? Well, usually the way I do sounds on this is I hit the random button until I find something close to what I want. Ooh, that's cool. And then I adjust. I like the sound in 1. What's going on in 1? That sounds cool. Usually what I do is I randomize the core sounds until I get something I like. Then I play with the figures in the orbit until it works with what I'm doing. And if I'm making music, well, if I'm making music, then I will run a drum machine. Oops. We'll run a drum machine and run it into this, and then like BPM, and use this for like sequences or like pads. This is honestly, this thing is great for pads more than anything else, because you can do crazy. Let me go to my save patches and do like a glass pad. I think the BPM is like crazy high. Let me turn that down to like something normal style. Anywho, it's really good for pads. It's really good for glassy pads. It's really good for weird sounds. What it's not good for is predictable sound design, because it is crazy weird. Which also means that almost any sound you make, let's just hit random. If you go really low on it, usually gets kind of buck wild. Oh, I fucked it up. I think you can actually fix this by just reloading the patch. Yeah. You don't have to restart the system, you can just reload the patch. If it ever like maxes out, and then it won't go anymore. Let me do that, and then get some drive. Yeah, and you can really make some crazy noisy stuff. Let me show you this one that I made. But let's turn that down a little, and then we're gonna give it some global slowdown. Nope, boop, boop, boop. Global slowdown. Let's give it some noise. Ooh, let's try it poly with high scatter and a little bit of detuning. A lot of detuning. I did it again. Yeah, sometimes when you're messing with noise, you really got to be careful to not overdo it. Cool. Okay. What else do I want to talk about? I think that might be it. I think I'm done. I think. Oh no. Yeah, you can make like wild sounds, real freaking bonk beep. You can save a lot of patches. There's a lot of pre-made ones. You can also just like, kind of hit random and hit a low note like. That sounds creepy as fuck. Yeah, okay. I think that's enough. Check it out. It is the Beetlecrab Vector Synth and the Intuitive Instruments Exquis, a crazy, crazy combo for music and experimentation and making weird, weird, weird sounds. I am going to sell this Vector because for me personally, I already have an expensive polysynth. I don't need two. I am, yeah, I have a bunch of gear. Yeah, I'm a musician where I can afford gear sometimes, but I'm not the kind of musician where I can afford to hoard gear. So I already have one polysynth that I love. It's the Juno 60, and I'm sticking with it forever. And I don't need a second polysynth that is exploratory. Someone else might. I have enjoyed it for about a year, and I am flipping it now. Check the reverb link in the thing if you want, if it's still here. But I'm keeping the Exquis because this thing's cool and not as big a hole in my pocket as the Vector is. Yeah, thank you for watching. This was a long one. This was oh god, an hour and a half. Wowee, thanks for sticking through. You're a champ. You know what? Just for you, I'm gonna go like this. That's because I love you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.